The annals of the American Wild West are replete with stories of notorious outlaws and lawless characters who left an indelible mark on the history of the frontier. Among them, Curly Bill Brocius stands out as a figure shrouded in infamy and surrounded by a mystique that lingers to this day. Known for his involvement in criminal activities and his propensity for violence, Curly Bill Brocius played a significant role in shaping the tumultuous landscape of the Wild West. This video delves into the life of Curly Bill Brocius, exploring the narrative of a man whose actions echoed the lawlessness and chaos of the era. Only a little more than 3 years were spent by William Curly Bill Brocius in Arizona's Old West. Still, during that brief period, he established a reputation as an outlaw, cattle rustler, gang leader, drinker, and murderer. Early in the 1880s, Curly Bill went on a murdering rampage in Tombstone, Arizona, starting with the town marshal and concluding with Wyatt Earp's brother, Morgan Earp. Wyatt Earp started out on Curly Bill's trail after becoming enraged, grieving, and motivated by retribution. On March 24, 1882, when Earp got back to Tombstone, he declared that he had shot and killed Curly Bill Brocius. The issue was that Wyatt Earp had a knack for telling tales. To portray himself as the hero, he frequently made up stories that were exaggerated or blatant frauds. Many folks in Tombstone disagreed with Earp's assertion. Old West historians disagree about Curly Bill Brocius's fate even today. William Brocius arrived in Arizona in the latter half of 1878. According to historians, he may have come from Texas or Missouri. He had been hired to transport a herd of cattle to the San Carlos Reservation in Arizona. He spent a brief time working as a ranch hand at San Carlos Reservation after delivering the animals there. His tenure in this position was brief. He soon arrived in Tombstone, Arizona, a notoriously violent and lawless mining town. It was the perfect setting for Curly Bill Brocius, who was notorious for his short fuse, ferocious rage, and heavy drinking. His brown curly hair is mentioned in all accounts of him. He was also characterized as having a freckled face, tall, and well-built. At the Birdcage Theater Museum in Tombstone, there is a picture of a man with curly hair that has been claimed to be Brocius, but has not been verified. 2 further photos of Curly Bill have been sent by his descendants' relatives, but these have also not been verified. Most accounts of Curly Bill from that era that were written focused more on his personality features and briefly highlighted Brocius's curls. He had a dark sense of humor and was a heavy drinker. He once shot at the feet of a preacher, making him dance during a sermon on a Sunday morning. On another occasion, at a dance for the entire neighborhood, Curly Bill pointed his rifle toward a group of Mexicans. He made them dance in public while they were completely exposed. At the time, local newspapers covered both of these instances. On the evening of October 28, 1880, a very inebriated Curly Bill and many of his equally drunk friends were firing their pistols into the air in an alley. To end the chaos, Fred White, Tombstone's first town marshal, arrived on the scene. In a nearby bar, Deputy Sheriff Wyatt Earp heard the disturbance. Later, according to Earp, Marshal White told Curly Bill, "Give me your pistol." White was struck by the bullet from his weapon as he handed it to him. From behind, Earp grabbed Brocius and wrestled him to the ground. He immediately detained Curly Bill and accused him of murder. Marshal White did not pass away right away. He was brought to a physician who attempted to treat his injuries. White appeared to be getting better, and he even managed to provide a statement that absolved Brocius of the allegations. His situation subsequently got worse. That evening, Fred White passed away. Earp campaigned for Brocius to be taken to Tucson to stand a murder trial there because the people of Tombstone liked and respected him. Fred White's testimony was read to the judge during Curly Bill's trial. The marshal had written that he thought the gun had inadvertently fired. Even Wyatt Earp admitted in court that he believed the shooting to be an accident. A group of cattle rustlers and stagecoach robbers, known as the Clanton Gang, had long made Tombstone their base of operations. The gang, led by Newman Old Man Clanton, also featured the McLaury brothers, Tom and Frank, as well as many other outlaw figures. Clanton's 3 sons, Billy, Ike, and Finn, were also a part of the group. While Curly Bill Brocius did not participate in the shootout at the OK Corral in October 1881, he was once a member of the Clanton Gang. Curly Bill Brocius and Johnny Ringo, two other Clanton gang members, tracked down and executed Isaac and William Hazlitt in New Mexico in July 1881. A few months before this infamous gunfight, these murders were committed solely to exact retribution. A few weeks before, the Hazlitt brothers had murdered two other Clanton members during an unsuccessful robbery of a general store. Before the shootout at the OK Corral, Curly Bill and the Clanton gang were on a deadly rampage. In the San Luis Pass, Curly Bill had led a band of outlaws in a deadly ambush just a few weeks earlier. 6 Mexicans were slain in the initial attack carried out by Brocius and his men on the group of people. Brocius killed and tortured the remaining 8 Mexicans. Law enforcement officers sensed the threats as hostilities between the Clanton gang and the Earp brothers grew more heated. At 11:30 p.m. on December 28, 1881, shots were fired as Virgil Earp was leaving a night at a nearby bar and heading back to his room at a boarding house in Tombstone. 3 assailants opened fire on Virgil Earp from within a partially completed structure across the street. Earp stumbled inside a hotel after being struck in the back and left arm. Despite being seriously hurt during the attempted murder, Virgil lived. His wounds rendered his arm permanently crippled. Then, on the evening of March 18, 1882, assassins, who were allegedly members of the Clanton gang, fired through the window as Morgan Earp was playing pool in a Tombstone pool hall. Wyatt Earp was just missed by the gunshot, but his brother Morgan was hit in the spine. The Clanton gang members were the target of a manhunt led by Wyatt Earp and his posse of lawmen. In case anyone was curious, the posse's mission was to capture and prosecute the criminals. On the other hand, Earp had seen the criminals released by dishonest judges, and he vowed to exact vigilante justice on the gang. Curly Bill opened fire first, and his bullet supposedly came dangerously close to hitting Earp, punching a hole in his coat. With 2 shots from his shotgun, Earp responded. Both shots hit Curly Bill, and as Earp subsequently recalled, they also almost split Brocius in half. That was the official account of Curly Bill Brocius's passing. However, the veracity of the account has been questioned. Wyatt Earp had the propensity to embellish his accounts and give information that made him seem more honorable and valiant. Really, there were no witnesses to corroborate Earp's claims. The remaining gang members hid under the tree line as Earp's posse left as the gunfire began. Even today, scholars mistrust Wyatt Earp's narrative because there were skeptics of his account at the time. Wyatt Earp said Curly Bill was shot dead there, although his body was never discovered there. After the lawmen went to fetch Curly Bill's body, Earp said the Outlaws had returned to the bar. He said they stole Brocius's body and buried him in an unmarked grave along Babocamori Creek. Curly Bill's friends claimed that the conversation with Wyatt Earp never took place. They contend that Curly Bill had grown weary of the life of an outlaw. They assert that Brocius departed Arizona so he could live in tranquility and seclusion. Some claimed that Curly Bill relocated to Mexico and married a señorita there. Depending on the account you hear, other gang members advised Brocius to relocate to Texas, Colorado, or Missouri so he could live out his days with a false identity. Earp reported the Curly Bill death described in the Tombstone epitaph as a reality. Even more, the Nuggets editors offered a prize of $1,000 to anyone who could bring Brocius's body to their office. The epitaph, not to be outdone, promised $2,000 to anyone who could bring Curly Bill in alive. None of the prizes were claimed. So, did Wyatt Earp execute Curly Bill Brocius to death? The likelihood is that we will never know the answer to that query, but Curly Bill Brocius's fame and allure are further enhanced by the mystery surrounding his demise. That's all for today. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos. See you next time.